The year is now 1815. Napoleon is defeated. In Carignano, 3 priests, Father Giovanni Rinaldi, Father Antonio Biancotti, and Father Agostino Gozio get together and create a new apostolic initiative. Father Rinaldi later writes that he met with Father Lanteri, asking for his advice. Through his writings, Rinaldi tells us that Lanteri encourages him, saying that the initiative is clearly the work of God. Lanteri also provides the apostolic focus of the new group, specifically giving the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius, studying in depth current errors to understand and combat them, and disseminating well-chosen books suited to the times. Father Lanteri is asked to take on the leadership of this new group. These are the beginnings of a diocesan rite congregation called the Oblates of the Blessed Virgin Mary, approved in 1817.
This brings us to the year 1817, when the Oblates are already fully underway with their activity of preaching the spiritual exercises as parish missions or in retreat houses. And in that year, a new archbishop is appointed for the Archdiocese of Turin, Archbishop Chiavarotti, and tensions arise almost immediately. One issue was the issue of the moral theology the Oblates were following, which was that of St. Alphonsus Liguori, which has become commonplace in the Church, but in those days was still something new, at least in some circles, and was a response to the harsher moral theology of the Jansenists. People were flocking to the confessionals of the Oblates. The response was marvelous. But it seems that the Archbishop had some hesitations about this. And the second issue was perhaps the more serious, and that was that the Archbishop ultimately told the Oblates that he would approve them, but not as the Oblates of the Virgin Mary, rather as the Oblates of St. Charles, a diocesan congregation which would be available to any needs the Archbishop might have in the diocese at any time. Finally, as the tensions grew, Father Lanteri, together with the Oblates, decided that rather than enter into direct confrontation with the Archbishop, which could only be harmful, it would be simpler simply to disband the community.
The Oblates of the Blessed Virgin Mary cease to exist. Father Lanteri, now over 60 years old and in rapidly failing health, decides to spend his remaining years as a Jesuit. He embarks on a preparatory retreat when something extraordinary happens. It came into his mind, says one Jesuit letter, that God wanted him to found a congregation of Oblates who would dedicate themselves, as we Jesuits do, to giving Ignatian parish missions and retreats. The Oblates of the Virgin Mary are reborn, this time as a congregation of pontifical right. Pope Leo XII meets with Father Lanteri and his secretary, Father Leggero, officially approving the congregation with a papal pronouncement Etsi Dei Filius on September 1, 1826.